What's up, everybody? So I'm just getting back here to Miami from Europe. I was out there for about 30 days. This is, I want to say, the third time that I've been out there for an extended period of time. And every time I come back, there's like a new spark. There's just new ideas that come to my mind. And I feel like I'm on a new level as a trainer, as a coach. And the funny thing is that I don't really educate myself much there. I don't deliberately read and go looking for research and honestly even watch a bunch of film. But there's something about it that I think just levels up my coaching philosophy and my coaching skills. And I was thinking about it, reflecting on it, and I came up with 3 ways that I think you guys can reverse engineer to become better trainers, better coaches. It just kind of naturally happen as I'm on these trips. So the first one is coaching under constraints, okay? With our players, or at least for me, part of my philosophy is using the constraints-led approach. So in other words, putting certain rules or in certain drills, giving players certain rules or certain guidances that allow certain skills to emerge and make it tougher for other ones, right? As a coach, sometimes we need to use this constraints-led approach on ourselves, right? For example, one day I lost my voice. I could barely speak. That's a constraint, right? Now I have to demonstrate better. I have to make sure that I'm communicating non-verbally. Same thing through a language barrier. There are a few camps where there were language barriers. Now I'm gonna have to coach through the game a little bit more, through demonstrations. Other times, gyms didn't have the nicest surface, so to speak, super slippery. So because of this, I had to find different drills where players wouldn't get hurt. They could still go hard and work around the constraint that's placed on them. So that's a constraint on me as a coach. Other times we had 70 players in the gym and just 2 coaches. Now I have to be very loud. It's a constraint for me to now be super vocal, project more. So if you're able to use these constraints on yourself, even when they're not naturally there, that's one of the best ways that you can improve, right? I'm coming back here to Miami, and now during our sessions, I'm talking to our coaches like, hey, today, the most amount of time that you can explain for is 20 seconds, all right? You gotta be super efficient, go. Or hey, today, every single player needs to be working in, at least 80% of the time, right? There just can't be much standing around. Or sometimes I will throw extra players in the workout to make it difficult for them because now they have to manage more players. Same thing for you guys. If you guys find creative ways to make training a little bit more difficult on yourself, especially when you have a goal in mind, like, okay, I gotta get better at projecting my voice. All right, well, now I'm gonna be in a louder gym. I'm gonna turn the music up. I'm going to stand on the other side of the court and try to explain something. You guys should treat your sessions in a lot of ways like little workouts for yourself, and that's how you're gonna see constant improvement as a trainer. Number 2 are donor sports, okay? What this means from a playing sense is the more that you compete in other sports, pick up concepts and abilities from other sports like soccer, like skiing, like American football, whatever it may be, you start to pick up certain qualities from these sports. Same thing for me as a coach, right? I'm talking to players, I'm about certain sports, I'm watching certain sports, mostly soccer or football, as I'm in Europe, that helps me see concepts on a brand new level. So I'm talking to players about a certain concept, let's say transition, and we're getting out in transition on a 3v2, okay? A few players actually, including one EuroLeague player, mentioned to me how similar that is to like timing up a run and making a through ball in soccer. I never thought about that before, right? But now, since it's from a perspective of a new sport, I am now realizing this, or I'm starting to understand it in a new way. I can start to study how soccer players do this, how coaches train for this, and you can do this really in any sport. So that if you just watch and study and even talk to coaches in other sports, it could be big for you. Last, number 3, building off of that, talking to other coaches, just talk to people with an open mind, right? Ask questions. Even if you don't necessarily agree with somebody's philosophy, there's usually something you can learn from them. I talked to probably 200 coaches over my time in Europe, and I made sure as much as possible to ask questions, to try to understand their philosophies, to not just be the teacher and the person who's kind of ranting about myself and my philosophies, but try to pick up anything I can from them. And if you talk to people, especially good people, but really anyone, with a very open mind, and you give yourself the responsibility to ask as many questions as possible and really pick their brain, I think you guys would be surprised at how much you'll learn, again, even without reading, watching film, kind of the standard ways that you would improve as a coach. So employ these 3 ways. I definitely, it's a reminder for me to continue to use these things even when I don't have to necessarily, as I'm traveling and doing the Europe tour. And hopefully you guys will see improvement. If you guys have any questions, any conversation points, as always, you guys know where to find me. Hit me up. We'll talk soon.